Okay, so today's lessons will be on index laws, raising powers. So our learning goals for today is that by after today's lesson, you'll be able to apply index laws to whole numbers to simplify expressions. So just a note to start off with, anything to the power of 0, except for 0, will equal 1. So a to the power of 0 will equal 1. 6 to the power of 0, as you can see there, will equal 1. 759 to the power of 0 will also equal 1. Now, if I had 5 to the power of 0 times by 10 to the power of 0, 5 to the power of 0 equals 1. 10 to the power of 0 also equals 1. So that's 1 times 1, which will give us an answer of 1. So anything to the power of 0 is going to give you a value of 1, except for 0. So a power of a power can be simplified by multiplying the indices together. So you can see there in our first example, we've got a to the power of m in brackets, and that whole expression is to the power of n. So to simplify that, we multiply our indices together. So that turns into a to the power of m multiplied by n, which is a to the mn. So example there is y to the power of 5 in brackets to the power of 2. To simplify that, you do 5 times 2, so we multiply our indices together, which will give us y to the power of 10. Okay, the other thing that we are going to look at is expanding expressions. So expressions involving powers can also be expanded. So you can see here we've got 3 times x in brackets to the power of 4, and I've expanded that. So that power has been applied to the 3 and it's been applied to the x, which has given us that 3 to the power of 4, x to the power of 4. In our second example, I've got 2y in brackets to the power of 7. So the 7 goes to the 2 and the y. So it equals 2 to the power of 7 multiplied by y to the power of 7. Now, in an exam situation, you're welcome to just leave it as 2 to the power of 7. You don't actually have to write that out and work out what the answer will be. You can just leave it like that, just simplify it that way. Okay, so we've got some examples that we'll work through now that will kind of combine all of those things we've just learnt. So the first example that we have to simplify is 7x to the power of 0 multiplied by 2xy to the power of 0. Now, that involves expanding. So to the power of 0 goes to both the 7 and the x. So that will leave us with 7 to the power of 0 multiplied by x to the power of 0 multiplied by, and we can expand the next one as well. So it'll be 2 to the power of 0 multiplied by x to the power of 0 multiplied by y to the power of 0. And from there we can simplify. We know anything to the power of 0 equals 1. So what we've got is 7 to the power of 0 is 1 multiplied by x to the power of 0 is 1 multiplied by 2 to the power of 0 is 1, x to the power of 0 is 1, y to the power of 0 is 1, give us an answer of 1. Okay, so in our next example, we've got 4 multiplied by t to the power of 0 times 7yh to the power of 0. So we know anything to the power of 0 is going to equal 1. So that's the first thing that I'll do. So that leaves me with 4 times 1, because t to the power of 0 equals 1, multiplied by 7, multiplied by y, multiplied by 1, because h to the power of 0 will equal 1. From there, I can simplify. So I'm going to rearrange that. I'm going to bring the numbers to the front. So 4 times 1 times 7 times 1 times y. And from there, I can solve it. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 times 1 is 28 times y. So it'll leave us with an answer of 28y. So that's our simplified expression there. Okay, our next example there, we've got w to the power of 2, so w squared in brackets, raised to an indice of 9. So remember, all we have to do is we have to multiply our indices together. So we do 2 times 9, which will leave us with w to the power of 18. Our second example, we've got 5 multiplied by y cubed, so y to the power of 3 in brackets, and that's raised to a power of 2. So remember that 2 goes to everything inside the brackets. So that becomes 5 squared multiplied by y, and y is already raised to the power of 3, so we have to multiply our indices. So 3 times 2 will give us 6, and our answer is 5 squared multiplied by y to the power of 6. Okay, our next example here, we've got u squared in brackets to the power of 2 multiplied by 7u to the power of 4 raised to the power of 2 as well. So again, we're going to simplify our brackets by expanding them. So u squared raised to the power of 2, we're going to do 2 times 2, which will give us 4. So that's u to the power of 4 multiplied. And with our second brackets, remember, it has to be applied to everything in the brackets. So it becomes 7 squared, and then the u to the power of 4, we multiply the 4 by 2, which gives us u to the power of 8. And we can actually simplify that further by using our index laws that we learned in our last lesson. So we've got 2 of the same bases here, u, and they're being multiplied together. So we can actually just add our indices there. So that leaves us with 7 squared. Oh, that should be squared. U, and remember, when they're being multiplied like that, we can just add our indices together. So 8 plus 4, it will give us 12. So our answer is 7 squared, u to the power of 12. So that's all we've got for today's lesson. It's a bit of a quick one, so make sure you're confident with these topics. Go over the video a few times if you're unsure, take some notes, and you can start on the textbook exercises. Please come and see me if you do need help, because this will be the last video in the series for this term.